In this movie, I'm going to show you the quickest and easiest way to convert a photo from color to black and white, and also how to create something called selective color. So the first thing that I want to do is add an adjustment layer to this. You saw me do this earlier in the Introduction to Photoshop movie. So here we're going to add a black and white adjustment layer. And the black and white adjustment layer works just the same as any adjustment layer does. The first thing I want to do though is make sure that this little click and drag modifier is turned on. That way I can come out here and modify this photo just by clicking and dragging around it. So I want to make sure the red is actually a little bit darker out here. And then what I'm going to do now is just kind of play around with some of these settings. So the yellows, for instance, maybe I want to brighten those up a little bit. That's the cheese on the pizza is mostly what that is affecting. Can also try the greens. Nothing really happens there. Cyans, that's just a little bit of the accent pieces out here. And then the blues, it's a little bit more. So really the main thing that we're targeting here are the reds inside of this document. So I'm going to set mine to about 10. So my settings look like this: red 10, yellow 31, green 84, cyan 46, and blue -45. You could also adjust the magentas if you want. You can also select from the preset menu up here at the top. So they have things like blue filter, which actually looks pretty cool, darker, green filter, high contrast blue, high contrast red, infrared, lighter, maximum black, maximum white, neutral density, red filter, and yellow filter. In this case, I actually like the blue filter. So once we have that done, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to collapse this up. Notice down here in the layers panel, it's a layer mask. I can do the same thing I was just doing before. So this time, grab my brush tool, B for brush, increase the size of my brush, make sure that I'm working with a soft edge brush, and then wherever I want color to show through, what I'm going to do is paint with black. So black's my foreground color. Here we go. I'm just going to paint in the pizza. Something kind of like this. And it doesn't matter if you leak a little bit onto the red table. Doesn't matter. We can always brush that out after the fact. We know how layer masks work now. And now I'm going to decrease the size of the brush. Brush a little bit on the crust. And I'll even brush in their hands. I think that's going to make for a cool effect. And even if you leave a little bit of that red kind of poking through on the edge of these things, it almost gives it kind of a surreal, almost like it's glowing effect, which is kind of neat. So I like that. Let's go ahead and do this right here. There we go. Grab that hand, get that all painted back in. Same thing over here. Paint in the hand. Bring back a little bit of the pattern on the shirt. There we go. And we can brush in any part of this that we want. We can brush in their pants so that we see just little hints of color here and there. It doesn't really matter where we bring the color back in. Totally up to you. Let me increase the size of the brush just a little bit here. I'll bring back the color in these jeans. There we go. And I'll take away some of the color in the red that I see leaking back through here by switching. Again, painting with white wherever I want the black and white adjustment layer to show through. So there we go. Let me brush in a little bit more here. There we go. And if I want to check the layer mask, remember how to do that. Option or Alt click. There we go. So I'm missing a few little pieces in here. Clean those up. And let's just get rid of this out here. Again, using the letter X to switch between black and white. That is the key to manipulating a layer mask. And I think I'm just going to get rid of this out here too. We'll only do the hands. I think that makes sense. Something kind of like that. There we go. Okay. Option or Alt click. There we go. If you want to remove some of these little bits of red that come through, you can certainly do that. Just by painting with white. Just like that. There we go. So again, you can do whatever you want with this, but for the most part, we just want to make sure that parts of it are in color, parts of it are in black and white, and then we have a pretty neat little effect at the end. That's just what we're going for here. So there we go. That is a selective black and white photo, and as you can see, it's not nearly as hard as you probably thought it was. You probably see this technique all the time, people using what's called selective color. But, a lot of people think that it's this big involved process when really it's just all about patience and having the ability to mask out the different areas that you don't want affected. So there's our finished composition of the selective color black and white. Hopefully this makes a little more sense to you and you have something kind of brewing in your head for what you would do with your next creative project when you needed to use black and white imagery?